Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, Tiara's Truth, where I not only share my personal experiences in hopes to encourage and motivate others, but I also share messages that I have received directly from the Lord. So make sure that you like and comment on this video and also subscribe to my channel for more content like this. God has given me an amazing revelation and beautiful word that I was really excited to get on here and share with you all, because I know that this is going to be the motivation and encouragement that somebody needs who is currently going through a trial where you are like being wrongfully persecuted, you're being treated poorly, and you have done nothing to deserve that. So I want to tell you how I came across this first and how God brought this all together and the scripture that he attached to this revelation. So yesterday I was on my laptop doing some work, and I think I was looking for a document, and I came across this statement that I had to write for a job that I had way back in 2023. And I had to write this statement because I was wrongfully terminated. And this happened due to corporate finding out that I was doing the work of someone that was in a higher position above me. And corporate came down. We had this meeting where role clarity was given, and basically out of that meeting I was supposed to do X, Y, and Z. This person was supposed to do X, Y, and Z. These lines do not cross. That is the end of that, right? So as this meeting was happening and as the situation was coming up, I honestly had no idea that I was doing more work than I should have been doing, right? I was just doing what I thought that I had to do because this person was in a position over me. But anyway, that all came out, and afterwards, I think the next week I was preparing to kind of hand things off and kind of start my role anew, right? And in that week, I experienced a lot of retaliation, which led up to a boiling point of a situation where this person basically was like, you know what? You are done. You can leave your ID, you can leave your keys, you are terminated. And like I said, prior to that week, I kind of felt the tension. I felt the underlying covert behaviors, and I was just really trying to keep my peace with all of it initially, and kind of think about how I wanted to maneuver without being overly emotional, right? And things kind of happened way too quickly for me to kind of be strategic about it. I was just basically let go that day, and in that moment it was like I could tell that this person was just trying to provoke me and get me out of character. And all I can remember thinking is just hold your peace, be still, because I need to have mental clarity in order to deal with this situation the right way. If I know that I want to get justice out of this situation, I need to be clear-headed, and I need to keep my hands clean of what this person is trying to get me involved in, you know? So that happened. It was kind of the end of the day anyway, and I was leaving work just in my emotions. I think I called my mom to kind of vent and get it out, and to kind of help me decide how I want to move forward. And literally that call was interrupted because corporate called me and was like, we know what you experienced. We know how this person has been treating you. We know that this has been a very uncomfortable and kind of nasty situation for you to be in. I just want to assure you, you are not terminated. And I was like, thank God I didn't lose my job, because clearly I didn't go into work that day thinking I was going to lose my job and I have a backup plan, So they ended up giving me a couple days off because they wanted to have a formal investigation about what happened, because this person had patterns of behaviors and tactics of the same nature. So they wanted to formally document everything. So that's where the statement came in. I wrote the statement. And in me writing that statement, that was going to be something obviously presented in the investigation, which I knew that I did nothing wrong. I knew that I kept my hands clean and I was only doing what I was told to do. And this person was just upset because now the work is shifting back on them. So I think that the next day, this person was presented with, like, we're opening a formal investigation, and they ended up resigning on the spot. Okay. And in that happening, I was able to get a promotion and I was able to get a raise. And I'm saying this all to say, to tie back to a scripture that I will get to in a second, is that sometimes when we are in these situations, our flesh wants to hop in and react. And sometimes what God is calling us to do is to be still and let Him defend us, okay? In that moment, I didn't have to do anything. He defended me. He fought for me. He saw things that I didn't see, and He brought that situation around to benefit my highest good. Like, I got elevated out of that. I got exalted out of that, and I reaped the fruits of that situation. So I want to tie this to a scripture that God led me to this morning. So this morning, after my quiet time with God, I was led to pick up my Bible. I didn't really have a scripture in mind or anything that I was led to immediately. I just opened my Bible and I opened it to Esther chapter 7. So I read Esther chapter 7, and in this chapter, this is where Haman is hanged instead of Mordecai. This is where Haman obviously has basically a hit out on Esther and her people, and because Esther has favor with the king, he asks her what's her petition, and she chooses to say, can you spare my life and spare the life of my people? And in doing that, the king grants her petition, and he asks who is basically the person that has this hit out, and it was Haman. And basically out of that, Haman got hanged. He received the very thing that he wanted to put on Esther and her people. So God brought this revelation to my mind, and basically He told me the very thing that the enemy is trying to set out to do with you, the very trap that the enemy has laid for you, is going to be the very trap that the enemy falls into. Okay, so I say all this to say, if there is somebody out there who is, like I said, being wrongfully persecuted, you're in a situation where you know you have done nothing wrong to deserve poor treatment or poor behavior, I want to encourage you to hold your peace and take all of that to God and allow Him to give you strategy on how you should proceed, how you should respond, and what you should do. Because in doing that, you take your flesh and your emotional reactions out of it, and you can think from a clear spiritual headspace. And once you do that, you kind of lay it down and surrender it to God. Watch Him turn that situation around for your benefit, and watch Him bless you out of that situation. Okay, I began with losing my job and then receiving a promotion and a raise at the end of it. Okay, so again, I hope whoever out there that needs to hear this hears this, and I want to encourage you to trust God with whatever you're going through and watch Him bring that situation around for your highest good.